of the carpet, but it's not so bad where I really have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it dried up and the smell went away and all that.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
So yeah, and I had someone come over to help me sort out Brett's clocks, so that's straightened up in his time chamber now. He called it his time chamber.
That's good.
So yeah, things are moving along. One of the biggest things was handling his estate, having to go to the courthouse and things like that. It was kind of tedious having to jump through hoops and dealing with incompetent people, making mistakes on forms, important things with the lawyer. Oh. But now the only thing left for me to do that I know of, I don't know what's going to be coming up, but I'm getting a new title for his car sent, and then I can start working on selling it. Okay. And I thought the easiest thing for me to do is just to sell it to CarMax.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with, putting a for sale sign and people coming up and having to barter and.
I think that's probably very wise.
Yeah.
It'll be a year.
Yeah.
April, wasn't it? April?
April 26th. And
wow, you've done a lot in a year.
Yeah, I've been going to grief counseling on Saturday mornings.
Okay, you're still doing that.
Helping, yeah. I'm still doing that, yeah.
That's very good. You were also in a women's group at your church, weren't you?
I can't remember that. I am being a teacher's aide in the evenings
for the
still
CCD
for
class?
CCD, and I really want to be that through TJ's, at least his early years of CCD, because it'll help me to learn too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember what went on when I was little, but and it's helping him to adhere to the Catholic, sacraments and things like that. And his teacher is really good. He's even given up something for Lent. And, he's religious, getting that way. And my mom is the one who prays when we go out to eat. And now he'll just say, oh, we forgot to pray. And he'll start it up.
Oh, wow.
And he starts saying at the table, thank you, Lord, for our meal. That's our quick grace.
Sure.
So he's initiating that.
Are you two doing things together? Tell me about that.
We do just about everything together now. Yeah. And in some ways, Brett's death has brought about some positive changes with me and TJ. And we're playing passing the football back and forth, and I'm trying to just do it because my mind wants to tell him how to do it. And when he does do it right, I say, good job, and that sort of thing. And he tries to say, well, don't throw it to my face and don't do that, but I just try to be patient. I have him doing the laundry, transferring the laundry to the dryer, and I put it in. But as far as doing that together, that's not really doing it together at the same time.
So he has some jobs on his own now.
Right, yeah. And we're easily helping each other as far as moving things together because I don't have any help from Brett anymore. And he actually comes to help me when I need help. Yeah. He'll notice that I need help and he helps me.
So that's a big change.
Yeah, it
is. That's a very big change. I remember that was one of the things you wanted was for him to come when you needed him, and he didn't.
I didn't have to ask him, and he's doing it himself. And I'm coming out naturally by trying to do it myself and straining, because I don't know, my mental health or my physical health. So it's happening with more things, especially lifting laundry or bending down with dishwasher. So he knows to empty the top part, and I empty the bottom part. And I'm trying to get him to start putting dirty dishes into that. And he doesn't do that automatically. I tell him every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But he does go to the sink and at least set them in the sink.
So that's good. So he's taking some more initiative, some personal responsibility.
Yeah, and he's really responsive too. I don't know where that came about or how I've been, asking him to, or telling him to, but I'll tell him to do something, or I'll say, I would really like for you to, and he'll just do it. Of course, there's some things he'll go like that, but most of the time it's like he knows. He just jumps up and does it, and I don't know where that came. It doesn't seem completely natural, but maybe
because you're not getting an
something.
Argument, you mean, in the resistance,
right?
Because there used to be a lot of resistance.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of resistance. There is every now and then when he tries to make conversation when it's time to go to bed, and I know he's like trying to, make it go a little bit longer, and I just come out and say to him, I say, TJ, there's no talking right now. It's time to relax. Or I'll say, TJ, I'm not taking any we're not doing any conversation right now. It's late. We need to go right to sleep. And when I'm firm, like last night I was really tired, and he did it. He tried a couple times to say a joke or something, and I ignored him. I didn't say anything, because I know that too. If you keep saying something, they'll keep going. And he just went ahead and did what I asked.
Is he back in his own room yet?
No. I have a grief counselor who's helping me with that every Saturday, and so no. I did tell him that this is really my room, TJ. You have your own room. And when I did say something about you are going to be sleeping in your room again, he kind of went, well, I have to make sure I have the fan, and I have Scruffy with me. So what he's doing every now and then is he'll have bad dreams, and he needs to be comforted in the morning. He'll call for me. So I know that there are some habits that I'm coming to realize that need to be broken. Because sometimes he gets up on his own because he's excited about something. But that's something that I think I did it once. I said, TJ, I'm downstairs. I'm not coming up there to comfort him, because he'll want my hand and things like that.
Okay.
So.
Rub his back.
Yeah. And I talk about Brett a little bit every now and then, and the grief counselor said that don't do any kind of counseling until he's ready. Because she gave me some information about child grieving, and she tried to talk to him about it, and he was like, And she checked with somebody that she knows, and she said yes, not until he's really ready. So I'm still just talking about Brett every now and then in positive ways.
Keeping the memory alive.
Right, yeah.
Do you think that any of these changes that you've seen, or any changes in you, that you would say was anything that came out of RDI principles?
Yeah, I actually wrote some things down. So I remembered. I'm glad you put that in your email so I could try and focus.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you want to just read it? That would be
fine. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. RDI has helped us learn how to better communicate with our son. I was thinking about the very beginning.
Sure, sure.
Using the tools provided specific strategies on how to keep our son's attention. Modeling, role play, and guided participation was one of the hardest, but sticking with it has been successful. My son responds well now to directions. He has conversations that are much more dynamic. He has displayed this at school according to his teachers. His relationships with his peers has also been successful. He is learning that directing his peers to do things isn't as successful as just letting them do things their own way without upsetting him. So he's not getting upset like he used to.
That's a very big deal.
Other children like him and talk to him. He has made friends, down the street. All of the kids, this is like the main house where everybody comes in for water because we have the big end spot with all the lawn. I believe RDI has been successful in just about every aspect of the program. Okay, now the challenges along the way have been getting him to respond to casual conversation. Now he is initiating it almost to get my attention. He is definitely doing that. I think he's picking up on my facial cues when I'm frustrated. So he is like being a clown, trying to make jokes and that sort of thing to make me laugh. I know that for sure. And one of the things is having to tell him over and over until he gets it. Now, that's probably kids in general. He will finally understand. Sometimes he forgets and sometimes he doesn't. Now, Brett told me that he knew a friend that would tell him something and he'd forget, and Brett would say that you have to hit me on the head with a baseball bat a couple of times in order for me to understand. And then I think about TJ, he's got so many characteristics from Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the challenge was the behavior around peers. So one of the benefits of me being at the bus stop every morning is to keep him in line, and now it's basically I don't feel like I have to go outside. I can trust that he's gonna be okay and that sort of thing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean he's not perfect. There's gonna
Sure.
be something.
But what about? I remember coming home from the bus was a big challenge.
It's everything like that is gone. Any kind of fear of him. I think that was another result of Brett's death. I have all my focus on TJ now. Like, in a loving way, he's my family now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any discomfort. I mean, I'll have some, when he does get home, if he bothers me, that'll come. But I always want him to come home now. And I want him to do things with me, going to the grocery store. And it started out as realizing that it has to be that way. Because
Mm-hmm.
Brett's not home. And
So, okay, I understand.
yeah.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
just coming home from the bus stop, he was wanted to go into the homes of neighbors
Right.
or kids that he wanted to play with, even though he
Yeah.
was not invited.
Now, yeah, he doesn't do that. They must have said something. But now he comes in and asks. And, of course, I love it if he can go play with his friends.
And that's happening? The
Yes.
kids are including him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's younger kids, and the fifth graders also are accepting him. Yeah.
That really is a big
Yeah.
change. I remember
Yeah.
you were saying even just standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus, how inappropriate he would be.
Right.
Is
Right.
he much more appropriate now?
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things is that his friend across or down the street
Uh-huh.
is somewhat like him. I'm not sure what kind of spectrum he's on, but they're close, and we always have either football or soccer where everybody's playing, and he'll be standing off the yard reading or doing something like that. And that's perfectly fine. And there are other kids younger kids that talk to him.
So he doesn't play with the kids when they play football in the yard?
Actually, no. I was trying to get him to do that, but he will play with me with the football.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other kids are in your yard, and he's just kind of a bystander.
Right.
Okay.
And when we're playing football, another child will come up, and then I'll say, we're going to play either a monkey in the middle or a three thing. And I'm trying to get him to pass to everyone. So that's kind of in process, but as far as me and TJ together, we can do that easily.
So
together.
Okay, so it sounds like sometimes you're changing the activities that is more inclusive of TJ.
Right.
That's perfect.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. So he has some opportunities to learn from turn taking and being included in games, and
Right.
then when he thinks it's not of his interest or he's not skilled enough, he kind of steps to the side.
Right. Yeah. And he does say that. He'll say that he doesn't like soccer, and he notices when he's not being very, very good at it.
Okay.
So, and sometimes the kids bring their own ball, but he is definitely more engaged with them, and I think a lot of it is a part due to the younger children being there. The older kids are kind of like, but they're still decent to them. These are pretty decent kids. And they come to the door now whenever, after school. And TJ loves it. And they're fencing together, they're playing together, and I can see himself coming out. And he's not so introverted anymore. And I'm astounded too. When I see it, I get like, wow, you mean he's actually talking and saying those little phrases that kids say, and they're responding back in the same way, dude, and all that stuff. So yeah, he's come a long way.
I remember limit setting and setting some boundaries was always a challenge, and having expectations for him. How is that going? I remember going to one particular challenge for you was when you needed to go shopping and he insisting upon you buying him something.
That still goes on every now and then. But I say no, and he might try to say, oh, this is something else, but he doesn't really keep at it anymore like he used to, or be real unhappy, or try to throw a fit or anything like that.
Okay, so the tantruming part is ended.
Oh yeah. When I'm telling him that we're not gonna get that, he's accepting it and moves on.
Well, that's huge, Kim.
Yeah.
Do you attribute any of that to you being consistent?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know that it's gonna happen, or I don't even think about it, and I'm not worrying about it. And when it does come up, I'm just like, there's no way, no. So, and before it was hard for me not to buy him anything.
I remember.
And he drew me in,
You
and I was looking at him. Right. And now it's just like, forget it. I'm not, it's almost like all the stress, it's just not worth it. Because of Brett and everything that I have to deal with, it's not, it's too stressful for me not to do that, to tell him no. And it's just no, we're not going to do that.
So being the one in charge,
yeah, and
is a new role for you.
Is a new role, and there are still times when he pouts or cries and comes back to me and says, "Well, Mom, you were rushing me." And I would say, like yesterday for church, and I said, "Honey, sometimes we have to rush," and he kept talking about it through the day. And I said, TJ, this is over. So then you
let go of it.
You let go of it, yeah. So there are still times when he's trying to do something like that. And I do say things like, I'm the mom. I'm the mom here. And my therapist is helping out too. I talk to her about things, and Remember, you are the parent.
So, and then you can have those expectations of him. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think your expectations initially, I remember, were really low.
Yeah.
That and now, and then you started raising the bar, even with
Mm-hmm.
bath time and homework and.
Oh yeah, he takes his own showers now and everything, and he asked me if he can take a shower, and he asked me because I tell him that he can't take too many showers because of his skin, drying and everything. Um, so yeah, he and everything. He gets his clothes. He gets dressed fine. He combs his hair.
So you're not having to prompt him through that morning routine anymore.
Well, um, I used to have to say like, change your underwear or get your pants or something like that. He knows how to get ready in the morning. He knows I'll even say, well, come down here for a minute. He goes, no, I'm getting ready. And then he brushes his teeth and he gets dressed before he comes downstairs.
This is good. Remember, you were
Yeah.
having to send him back up, or he was calling you upstairs.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah.
How's homework?
I talked to his teachers, and they said it is okay for him to take a break between different homeworks. And there are times when I say, TJ, I can't believe it. It's 7 o'clock and you still haven't finished part of your homework. But I let him come home, and then I'll say, TJ, it's 5 o'clock. It's time to do your homework. And he starts to do it. He'll try to say, oh, well, the show is almost over or something like that. And I just say, I tell him to turn it off, or I just go ahead and turn it off, and I say, well, it's getting late. I'm not going to have this. We have to have dinner soon. So I'm getting a lot stronger, I think, because of the other stresses in my life. I just don't want to put up with it. And of course, it's good for him. So he's responding a lot better to me.
And the video games that was another issue. I remember too much. You couldn't turn the TV off, and the video games.
Yeah.
Is that more manageable now?
It's
Have
more.
You set
it
limits
is
with
more manageable as far as setting limits. I'll tell him when he needs to stop playing it because something else needs to be done.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when homework is needed and when it's time for dinner. As far as putting a limit on like only 15 minutes of that, I haven't gotten to that point, but it's more like, TJ, you've been on that long enough. You have to do this now. Cleaning up the area, his toys is a lot better. And
Great.
I'm using things like, what parents and you have said is like, you're not getting another toy unless you learn how to put all your things away, And I'm acting like that, I'm not like, a bit scared and things like that.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
awesome. You've done really well. Did you find when we transitioned to the new operating system, did you find that to be a challenge?
Yeah, I thought that the guy who ran it wasn't responsive to me, and any kind of training. Philip, I just messaged him my new email, and he would send me something back that I didn't understand, and I would just not hear from him. So the operating system has just been
Useless.
not there. Been useless, yeah.
Now, did you get your computer problems worked out?
Yes.
You have your new laptop
and a very new computer. Yeah.
You've done a lot of positive things to help you.
Thanks. And a new cell phone that's up to date.
Yeah. So. You're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Are you still taking your art classes?
Yeah. That's every Wednesday. I haven't been back in a while because of just being busy and that sort of thing, but I know that that's there. It'll always be there. because of sinuses or
Yeah, how is that
appointments and
going?
I saw the allergist, and he explained to me what I have to do, and I just need to continually take my nose sprays, just
Okay.
prescription nose sprays through, in the morning or in the evening, and I've been handling them fine.
Oh, good. With all this pollen right now,
Yeah.
it's going to just be a really long spring, they said. It just started earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm glad, because I know you suffered from sinusitis and
Yeah.
sinus infections a lot.
Yeah, and he said it's okay to take ibuprofen when I need it, and allergy medication when I need it. But the sprays should help the most, and of course I can go back to him if there's any problem.
Good. So you have any more trips planned? Last year you really were doing a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited now. I finally looked at the calendar to find out when spring break is, and it's the week after next. So we're thinking about going to maybe Ocean City, depending on the weather. We have a whole week, so I think it's
great.
worth doing something. Yeah.
How is TJ when you've been going to Massanutten and then going to the beach? How has those trips been?
They've been really good. We're trying to stay very active. He still will have input on what he wants to do, and when I say no, we're going to take a break right now, he just does something else, and he's a lot better in directing the plans of the day. And you know where that came from? I used to have a caregiver for the longest time that would always come over and ask him what the plan is for the day. And that set him and me up in the worst way, because now he has a plan for what he wants to do all the time. And it was fine for his caregiver, because she would take him out and it would be, she would, what would you like to do today? And I can understand that, like a grandparent or something like that. But when it comes to me, it's no, I make the plans. And every now and then I could say, do you have any idea of what you like to do? But I need to be the one that says, this is what we're going to do today. So that may have been part of how we got into that mode.
But you taking the role of being the parent in charge is really a big difference. I mean, I think to a certain extent you were limited in your abilities to do that because Brett, when Brett was alive, he was very much the take charge person. I remember you even saying that when he said jump, you asked how high, and so you learning to assert yourself has been a real growth for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you see a difference in the way you're getting along with your extended family? And TJ, I mean, particularly.
Oh yeah,
there were some
TJ
problems with him, with your sister.
Oh, sorry about that. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh gosh, why would she do that? She hasn't done that to me. Nia. Gosh. Yeah, he's getting along fine. My sister, I was a little worried about sending him over with my sister.
Yes.
And I still am a little bit. So I just try to keep it on holidays and things like that. But they still get along the way they get along. And I've told TJ, I said, TJ, that's the way Aunt Missy is. And I just ask for feedback all the time that he does spend time over there, but it's been practically nil that he spends time over
Is that and Amber's there, right?
Yes. And Amber doesn't watch the same shows and things like that. And she'll try, being a girl maybe, she tries to tell him what to do and all that. But he's, I kind of heard them doing that, and he doesn't really lash out. I've been trying to tell him how to be around girls too. You don't do this, you don't do that. No, she wants to be pet. Ming isn't like that. This one wants attention. And that's what both of us need. TJ, I wanted him to have a cat, and one that likes them.
It seeks them out, yeah.
Yeah, and she's a little more friendly than me. I mean, a whole lot more friendly.
So life seems to be doing pretty well over here at the Lewis
Yeah,
household.
I mean, I have my moments, you know.
Oh yeah, you miss Brett, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I know that there's time for me to have something when I want it, and
How are you still working? You were volunteering at the Gabriel.
yeah, that I was, and they hired someone.
Oh, okay.
And then I said, okay, I'll just volunteer when they need me, type of thing. And I've been pretty busy with taking care of things still.
Oh yeah.
I still need, as far as, you know, my health, and with Brett's things.
Yeah, you have a lot.
And just being a mom. And I realize from the time he leaves for school and the time he gets home, you know, my schedule has changed from being a working girl, but there's still a job, you know, during the day. And then, you know, I just say people, you know, I work mornings and nights, or, you know, as a mom, and then during the day you know, I do other things that I like or need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the role. It's come. You know, it's been so long. It's taken a long time for me to understand my role. But I'm telling myself, you know, when he's old enough to go to school on his own and come home, then I think I'll do something on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that I think about every now and then. But I do try to stay in the here and now with what I'm doing now. So
that's keeping you focused and keeping you healthy. And also, it helps to reduce your anxiety.
Yeah.
Then you can take care of this right now instead of anticipating. Because you've had a lot to do, and you've done a really good job of it. I mean, getting Brett's things together in itself had to be huge. He had so much stuff.
Yeah. And then this coming weekend, going to his brother's house in Virginia, and that's another issue with them trying to give me information about taxes and things like that. So that's another thing to deal with. So I'll see them next weekend, and my grief counselor said, you know, if it's going to be too much for you, just tell them, maybe even beforehand, saying that I think this is going to be, you know, send them an email and just say, I think this is just going to be too much for me, as I've found, you know, I'm getting closer to the occasion. If I make it, great. If I don't, please understand.
And can he send you the information?
Oh, as far as the taxes, yeah, I mean, we can do that over the phone.
Oh,
We
that
can
might
mail
be easy.
things, Jimmy.
Might be. And then do you have to go up to New York in April for the unveiling? And
Yeah, and Carla said that it might not be on the same day, and that's something that I understood. It doesn't have to be on the exact day.
Will you and TJ go together? Will you fly up?
And my mom, which will help. Yeah, having her there.
Oh, good. So you have some support.
Yeah.
So
and she's coming with me. Yeah, that's she's being helpful in the big ways.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've done a remarkable job. I mean, a lot has gone on in your life, and you know you've risen to the occasion, and TJ is also.
Yeah.
And learning to be consistent with him, and trying to include him in your everyday activities has really benefited both of you.
Yeah. He's doing the trash. You know, I have to tell him that it's trash day. It's time to do the trash at night. But and we do it together too. Yeah, I'll say, well, you know, I'll get the recycles and you get the big can. So yeah, it's just happening naturally now, and I do think it has to do with Brett's passing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to put all the credit on that either. You know, I have to realize that it is coming out of me and my own
and your
growth.
your growth and your your vision for him. I mean, you knew what you wanted for him in the future.
Yeah.
And so it's been very good, and you've been more consistent, and you're taking care of yourself, and that makes you more available to him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How are the weekends? I remember the weekends used to be very hard for you.
They've been busy. There was one weekend, of course, every now and then plans get broken, and he really wanted to do something, and it was yucky out. And I said, TJ, I just explained to him that plans were canceled, and it's not nice out. We have to try to do things inside. And it took a while for him to kind of lighten up, but he got through the day, and
There's always used to say to you, I want to go somewhere, I want to go get in the car.
Yeah, and there are times when I say, yeah, it's a good idea, because I know that he needs to get out too. But we'll go out, we'll go to McDonald's, or we'll go someplace, and he's the one that wants to go out too. I think, yeah, he wants to go. He's asking me to go out instead of like a kid that just always wants to play his DS and that sort of thing.
Very good. And so he seems to be wanting to spend time with you too.
Oh yeah. He's much more thinking about what I want, how I feel. He tries to get me to laugh. He comes up and says, "What's wrong?" I don't want him to do that too much, and I have been told that I shouldn't rely on him, to help me with my grieving and everything either. So I have learned that. But he's very receptive to me.
Well, it seems like he's more perceptive, like noticing.
Right. And that was a big thing. As far as my facial expressions, he's right on it now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He is. And it might be because of I'm actually making those expressions now. I'm letting things out instead of trying to control myself, because that was one of the things that I would do. I would just ignore myself. So, and I'm finally figuring out that it's okay to feel the way I feel because of him passing and the feelings that I'm going through. It's okay to be sad or upset. That's a normal human being. And even around TJ, I have to be a normal person around him.
Well, keep it up.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm very glad that things are positive. Even coming in your home, it's just a brighter atmosphere, and you look brighter. And
thanks.
It's been a long haul, I know.
Yeah.
It's been very